Just a quick thing, did they mention that Khalil has actually grown up in our spiritual community since she was itty bitty? It's such a pleasure to have her come back and share with us. And for somebody that doesn't want to do this, hello? And anybody that, I mean, he was actually blessed to have you. You being difficult doesn't even come in the same sentence. Okay. Business. This is going to be an interesting one. I want to see what you guys think. And I want you to know I'm just the messenger. Okay. So the undertone of today is, where are your answers? Where do you look for your answers? What's important to you when you go to look for those answers? So as we look over history and we study history all the way up to now and today into our own lives, I see it in my practice, I see it with my clients, I see it in my friends, I see it in myself, this reoccurring theme that really troubles me because it's actually almost this damaging disease that nobody seems to want to look at, and that nobody seems to want to give it the due that it really needs, the attention that it needs. And I'm not really sure if it's because it's too woo-woo. I don't know if people think that all that real stuff happening out there can't be solved by it, or what it is. But you know what? I don't even care about why, because if we focus on the why, then we're focusing on the problem. We're distracted into the problem. What I want us to do is I want us to start focusing on the solution. Think about it. If you got bit by a snake, are you going to run the snake down going, did you do this? How can this happen? Did I do something? No. You're going to go get the antidote and get healed and well, right? Do you care at that point why the snake bit you? Or why you got bit? No. You just want to be healed and well. Sounds really sane when we're talking about it that way. But we kind of do it in our everyday life. So, what is this? What is at the core? And it's so simple and yet big. It's a lack of self-love. Real, intense, deep self-love. And it's interesting because I do see this so much that it has become this goal of mine, and I'll have to admit, probably even an obsession of trying to help people understand how important self-love really is. So I think it's so easy for us to say it's out there. The enemy and the problem is them and what they said and what they're doing. But it's not, guys. It's us. It's inside of us. It's our mind. It's the way we think. It's our belief systems. It's the things that we put. And some of it, unfortunately, is even sort of like fake programming, or even caged. It's almost like we're caged in a cultural programming of what we're taught to believe and put our faith in. And what it does is it gets us thinking about things, or for us to get to our worth and our self-love, or our love and our things from outside of us. And we attach to things like relationships and jobs and where we live and our achievements and our perceived failures, opinions and approvals. And even society, I mean, what's always talked about with the economy and inflation and the government and hierarchy and it's news. When we enmesh ourselves in this, allow ourselves to be meshed in it, we're actually giving our power away to external forces. And when we do that, we allow it to affect our mood. We allow it to affect our being, our actual state of being, because we let it get into our feelings and into our moods. So I found this quote from Bill Hicks. Chew on this more than just today, please. An organization created in fear must create fear to survive. Did you hear that? Okay, so stop and think about everything they're feeding, or we're feeding ourselves. Whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's, I don't even know all those things out there, but all those internet media things and the news, it's always about wrinkles and fear and weight loss and, again, the economy and money and people. And where are you getting fed the positives? And if you immerse yourself into that. A couple other things. So toxic people, places, and things intentionally create chaos. They shift blame, they avoid, they resist. They're masters at dodgers and weavers of responsibility. And when it comes to some people, it's really hard for them to hear without getting defensive or offended. Now, the thing I want you to understand is these people are hurt, and they're hurting. Now, does this give them a right to be? No, not necessarily. Because people that are unhappy with themselves tend to be mean and hurt people, okay? But if you can, anytime you're disrespected or run into something like this, or you bump into it, try not to take it personal. Because 9 times out of 10, it's a reflection of them and whatever's going on in their life. Now, are you ready for this?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I know. Some of this is in every one of us. There's not any one of us that are innocent that have never done anything, right? You know? So even if you're on the spectrum, you know, and some of this is, you know, we get sick, we get grumpy, we get grumbly. Sometimes we have bad times and bad things happen that we're shorter and more impatient. That's human. It's life. It's okay. So don't throw yourself to the wolves just yet, or to the lions. You know, just understand that it's a difference when you are operating from a place of negativity versus situational. Okay? So don't beat yourself up about that. So let's talk about love real quick. And that is, I want you to think about the top 3 to 5 people in your life. Who do you really enjoy? Who do you really enjoy spending time with? If these people have been in your life, even for any portion of time, guess what? You've hurt them. Some way, shape, or form. Whether you said it or didn't say it, did it or didn't do it, you hurt them, right? But what was your response to that? You hurt too, didn't you? You felt like junk or crap afterwards, sorry. You felt bad about it afterwards, and you wanted to fix it. And you wanted to communicate in a solution-oriented way, right? Because you love these people and they're in your life. So that's the easy part, sort of. But it takes, listen to this, it takes self-love for it to get bigger, deeper, and a level that you can love unconditionally and universal everybody. That's where it starts to get tough. And it comes from loving yourself. It really does. Being able to handle and deal with these tough times and people comes from being able to love yourself. Polly kind of touched on this a couple weeks ago. By the way, her talk was amazing. It was great because, you know, we don't want you to be your head in the sand. There's a lot of turmoil going on out there. You can't go through a single day without seeing, hearing, feeling, or bumping into it in one way, shape, or form. But it's really, what do you decide to do with it? How do you look at it? And the reality of it is this has been happening forever, since the dawn of time. And guess what? We've made through everything else. We're going to make it through whatever else is going on. And I honestly, I've been accused of, what is it, Pollyanna, you know, rose-colored glasses, all those kind of things. Yeah, I've worn them all. But honestly, I truly believe that the world is in an awakening. People have been in a deep sleep for a long time. They've been complacent for a long time. I kind of sometimes play with it and say it's a zombieism, but that's just when Elijah and I are at home and laughing about it. But I do really believe that there is a new reality. and it's not that far away, where we, as you said, we are the ones that bring love, compassion, and respect to center stage. We're the ones that do it. Have you ever heard everybody always talks about the calm before the storm? Mm-hmm. Now, we're in the storm. Yeah. We are working towards the calm. Yeah. Okay? And the thing I ask is, what is your goal? What is your purpose? Is it to add to the chaos? Or is it to add to your self-care? Your self-care that raises the frequency and the vibration and the energy for yourself and everybody around you. And play with that. Think of yourself as a Wi-Fi, connection, because you're radiating a signal. What is it? Is it the one that you want to be radiating? And also getting back. And probably most important, are you connected to the divine server? Okay? Because actually, the greatest technology that you could ever be connected to is your own consciousness. That's where it needs to be. And when you're connected to that divine intelligence, it's not a perfect world, but it's still definitely better where you can trust your intuition. You don't need to over-explain. You don't need to defend. You don't need to strike out and hurt other people. You don't get caught up in the chaos. You don't get sucked into the drama. You trust that inner guidance and know that your soul knows what is best for you. And it will lead you out of and into what is in your best interest if you let it and you flow and follow it. Because whether we like it or not, the only way out of this is in us. So if we continue to look outside of ourselves for nourishment, for comfort, for safety, we're going to keep finding ourselves needing, wanting, fearful, and starving. Bob will love this. I found an I Ching that fit. When your inner world comes into order, your outer world comes into order. Okay. Forgive me, I am a teacher at heart. It is what I am. So we have a demonstration. Pretty visual? Good. I actually was talking to one of my clients about a lot of what we just talked about, or what I just mentioned. And she sent me this video that I was like, whoa, I gotta find a way to make this work in. Her name is Martha Beck, seems to be a very well-educated, well-read, aware person, and she had this demonstration on a video that she did. So I'm kind of incorporating her and my ideas into this, but this is the gist of it. There is a positive shift in humanity coming. It is on its way. I haven't been told when, just so you know. A lot of other things, but not when. If I get told when, I'll let y'all know. I promise. We'll throw a party and prepare. But anyway, so this is a social model. This is a salt cube of pyramid. Well, the best I could do for the day. But thank you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. And this is a pyramid, a demonstration of almost every social construct there is. I don't care whether you're in Asia or whether you're in Europe or whether you're here or wherever you're at, this is almost exactly how every social situation is built. That at the top, there's always the people that have the power, the control, and the wealth. And then it goes down from there to the different classes, to the different hierarchies, to the different whatever there is, until you get to us, and we're the foundation. We're the one that actually holds this all together. And I want you to own that power. I want you to own how important that really is. And this is going to tie into how you self-love. So, let's be honest, this is a pretty rigid, unfair structure. It really is. And they know it, and they play on it. Because ego tries to separate. Ego tries to play with us and divide us and make us different. That's why we're never enough. That's why it's fear-based. But spirit is inclusive. Spirit wants to unite. Spirit wants to remind us that we're all one. So our power is our presence in a place from compassion and love. Love of ourselves and love of other people. Now you remember I've talked about the critical mass causing a quantum leap. This is a great example of that, and it's a physical demonstration of it, that there's going to be some of us, and the thing of it is there have been people, everybody from Buddha to whoever, that have come into the world and tried to make their mark, but it's just not been enough. It needs to be a collective that does this. It really does. So we have a rigid structure of a pyramid. Below it I have a measuring cup with blue water in it. And the blue water, well, let's first of all say that water, what does water naturally do? Water naturally rises to a level of flatness, right? Of evenness. Even if it's running water, unless there's rocks and twigs, it still likes to find a levelness. It does. It likes that level playing field. So how do we get the pyramid to that flexible, flat level water? This is the old structure. This is the new one of us. That's love and compassion. Now, you think I'm going to pour it on top?
No, she's at the bottom.
Exactly, because they already know this. They're just not using it. Are we using it? We are today. I've heard people say things like we're at war. And I don't like using those kinds of words, but if you want to use them, that's fine. Because maybe we are in a spiritual sort of a war, but the weapons of choice are not damaging anymore. Our weapon of choice is love. Because look what it does. You know what's ironic? Years ago, we fought for our freedom from Europe, right? To get out of control and power and taxation. To then, what did we do? We created the pyramid again, didn't we? Oops. So revolutions, conflicts, wars, global or civil, they've not worked, guys. That's not what's going to change the world. Hate and greed and disagreements and separation's not going to do it. Disillusionment is. Putting the love at the base, which is us. It's us. To love ourselves and to love other people. That's the way we're going to live this sweet life. Namaste.